Hi, my name is Juju, and this platform is all about adoption. So we're gonna go into the nitty-gritty about the good, the bad, and the great of adoption, and just building a community of what is adoption, who is affected by adoption, and everything in between with adoption. So I'm super excited.
What was it like growing up in a white family?
Ooh, that's a great question. There definitely was some struggles, more so with identity issues, already coming from a family that didn't look like me, and I felt different. Even if no one said anything, even if no one treated me differently, I internally felt different. But I would definitely say, too, just gave so much love and support. I didn't think I was going to cry right now. At the end of the day, really realizing that family is not what you look like, but who you really are around, who supports you, who is there for you when you need it the most. And even when you don't feel like you deserve it, then being there and being that steady rock for you, no matter what. But I would definitely say it had challenges, more so internally, and questions, a lot of questions within my own self, like my own worth.
What was it like growing up without a father?
Oof, we hitting hard questions today. Well, a lot of it too, I've looked back and seeing you don't know what you don't know. But as I've gotten older, I've really seen how it's shaped who I am. And in a sense, too, just really making me independent, strong, just knowing that I can handle whatever is thrown my way. And in some instances, too, I've seen learning how to be more vulnerable, how to receive love, how to receive help and ask for help, and knowing that it's okay and I don't have to do everything alone, and not being as strong-headed. And I would even say to just giving myself more grace, allowing grace for myself, allowing forgiveness, kind of more of that softer side where for the most part I really saw the strong, independent, we're going to get this, and nothing can stop us, which is great, but two sides of everything.
Where did you grow up?
Wow, where did I grow up? That's kind of a loaded question. I grew up a lot of places. It depends on what age. What age are we talking about? But I was first adopted from Kazakhstan. And then at the age of 2, grew up in Japan for a little while. 9/11 happened, so my mom was in the military. And from Japan, moved to Georgia, Albany, Georgia. And then from Georgia, moved to North Dakota, where I predominantly spent most of my childhood from the age of 5 to 17. In North Dakota, and I was in 3 different cities within North Dakota. So a lot of my childhood, I would say, was growing up in North Dakota.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. So I have 2 adopted siblings as well. They are both from China. I am the oldest.
Were you adopted from an orphanage or a foster home?
So I was adopted from an orphanage.
What's the difference?
It's a great question. So from my understanding, and by the way, I am not a social worker, so I am on this journey with you all to learning. My understanding is that an orphanage is more so like a daycare where you have adoptees in like a daycare where they have maybe 20 kids, and you share clothes, they feed you. It's definitely a lot more kids, a lot more activity. And a foster home is primarily in a person's home. So we'll say, for example, like a woman, right, who wants to foster kids. She may have like 3 or 4, a handful of kids, not more than 10. Or I don't know, I'm making up this number, so it may be less than that, but just a handful of kids, and she takes care of them. She's the one who's just the sole kind of provider, making sure that their needs are met, giving them, baths, cleaning. And it doesn't have to just be like one person. It may be a couple too, or like a married couple. And typically with a orphanage, it's more than one caretaker. So you're going to have, I think of like a daycare, maybe 5 or so people, and they have different shifts, they have rotation. So it's definitely more, I would say, like a hectic environment, and not as much of stability as it is with having a foster parent.
What did you struggle with the most growing up?
What did I struggle with the most? Whew. I struggled with a lot. I would say, out of all the plethora of things that I struggled with, a lot of self-worth, a lot of identity, and figuring out who am I. I kept seeing, other families, and I knew obviously I didn't look like my family. I saw even sometimes characteristic traits were a little bit different than like my family to even who I am. And I would just say a lot of fear. I struggled with fear of people leaving, or but what I struggled with the most, I would say fear. Just fearful of everything, fearful of trusting, fearful of getting close to people, just very fear-based, and kind of running away from that too.
Have your past relationships been affected by being adopted?
I would say my past relationships have been affected by the trauma of it. Maybe not as much just being adopted, but definitely the trauma of the unhealing that I hadn't done yet. So again, going back to fear, really more so fearful that maybe they'd leave, or fearing that I wasn't good enough, or fearing that once they really got to see the real me, they would leave. Fearing kind of a lot of the insecurities that I think would maybe either push them away, or would, I think, happen more cases, I would push them away. I would leave them so they couldn't hurt me, because of that fear of, all right, if I get too close and they see the real me, what if they don't like it and they leave me?
How was it being the older sibling while you were dealing with a lot of emotions?
I feel like I may have put some like pressure on myself, feeling like since I'm the oldest, that I have to be there for my siblings. I have to make sure they are seen, make sure that they're taken care of, even when I wasn't up to date for that. Or I shouldn't say up to date, when I was still struggling myself, realistically, when I didn't know what was going on, when I had so many internal questions and doubt within myself, but still just trying to figure out, how can I be there for them? How can I still, show up? And more so in my teen years, I definitely was more selfish and thought about myself more, trying to figure out my own emotions and the world, and where am I going? Who am I? All these questions that I had, and a lot of them too couldn't even be answered.
What were your favorite ways to comfort yourself when you were feeling anxious?
Well, as a kid, I felt like I wasn't really anxious. I was not very anxious at all. So I guess as a kid, I just love to daydream. Like, I remember I would lay out in the grass and look at the clouds and make shapes from the clouds, and just love to watch the movement of the sky and how 1 second you see one shape and then within a few seconds it shaped into something else and it created something else new. And I could just stare at the sky for hours. I love to ride my bike. I was very active. I love to just feel that freedom. And when I was biking, it just gave me this sense of feeling of like I'm flying and free. I used to always pretend it was my motorcycle. I would be on my bike and be like, I'm on a motorcycle. So those are some of my favorite ways. I like to take pictures too. I love taking pictures. I had this small little Disney camera that my mom had got me for either Christmas or my birthday. And I would take selfies. I would take pictures of my sister blowing bubble gum, pictures of the sky, pictures of my cats. I loved kind of that creative art and just being. I guess now, what do I like to do when I'm feeling anxious? I would say, that's a great question. I like to take bubble baths. That really helps me. It really grounds me and calms me down. And something about being surrounded by the water, it just makes me feel calm. Even if things are kind of spiraling or there's a lot of thoughts, it's just, okay, let's take a deep breath and enjoy, relax. It's okay. Recently, too, I've gotten into meditation, and that has helped a lot, too, just with the constant noise or questions that happen in my head, which I'm pretty sure a lot of us can attest to, and just making sure it's not that, all right, I'm sitting and I have to just think about nothing. It's like, no, all right, things will pop up, but let's still focus on our breathing. Let's let that go. Let's release it. I don't have to hold on to it. And I think that has been very groundbreaking for me, where I always thought, all right, these noises come, these thoughts come. I have to believe it. Okay, we need to deal with this right now, but then go into other thought. And now it's like we're going down this rabbit hole. It's like, no, we don't have to even do that. We have the choice. We don't even have to look at that thought. We can bypass that, just like the clouds. You want just look at the next character or the next animal that we see within the clouds.
If you could, let me get this right. If you could tell your youngest self one thing, what would you tell her?
I tell her a lot of things. I would say that it's gonna be okay, and the feelings you're feeling, or any feelings you feel, they're gonna pass. So whether you're feeling super sad in this moment, it's okay to feel that, but just know it's gonna pass. It's not for forever. And I would say too, just trust yourself. Just trust yourself. Don't doubt yourself so much. Like you know what's going on. You have a good head on your shoulder. And just trust that. Lean into it.
Where can we find you, and what final words do you have?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at The Voices of Adoption. And I am Juju. This is Voices of Adoption. And my final words are, no matter what you're going through or what's ever happened to you, that doesn't define you. You get to write who you are. You get the choice to say, this is what I'm going to be. This is what I'm doing. And you get to create whatever you want. There's no limit. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Juju.
Thank you. Thank you so much too for watching, and I appreciate too just all the support, and this really means a lot to me. So yes.
Mm-hmm.